I would just like to take the time to create a LEXIE HULL appreciation post because in my eyes, she's definitely in contention for most improved player, and here is why. We are almost a month into the WNBA season, and the WNBA season is only 4 months long, so I think that right now is a good time to start talking about like what we're seeing and what types of improvements from last season players have made and who are having like breakout years. And there is still a lot of time left in the season, so a lot can change. But I have been so pleasantly surprised with LEXIE HULL's performance. The Indiana Fever are in a time of adversity. Caitlin Clark goes out for their first game, which was like such a disappointment to so many Fever fans who had been waiting like 200 and what was it, like 65, I don't know, however many days to see Caitlin Clark take the court. Then Sophie Cunningham has a great game, but then she goes out, etc., etc., etc. We don't need to relive all the madness. So let's just focus on some of the positives, which is LEXIE HULL and actually Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston is also kind of having like a breakout season. I mean, she is so good. She, like putting up like big numbers. The difference between Lexi and Aaliyah is that I think that a lot of Aaliyah's performance is like based on the chemistry that Caitlin Clark and her have together, and like together like unstoppable. They ABC squared. And LEXIE HULL, she has come in like moments of despair for the Indiana Fever as this beacon of hope, as such a like light at the end of the tunnel, and she has really stepped it up compared to last season. Now, last season, granted, she had a month where she was just like on fire, but prior to that month, her stats were not that good. She wasn't starting, Christy Sides wasn't giving her a lot of development time, but nevertheless, like when she would come in, she wasn't really putting up the points. I think that she found her moment late in last season, and she just kind of showed the potential of what she's able to do. But this season, LEXIE HULL, who are you? So she is averaging a career high of 10.2 points a game. She has 3.7 rebounds. She has a 52% field goal percentage. And check this out. She is shooting 57% from the three, which is number 1 in the league. That's in the entire league. Of every single player, she is first in 3-point percentage. And her true shooting is at 60%. And her plus minus is at a number 8. If you don't know what a plus minus is, basically plus is a positive, and that means that when you're on the court, the team is affected like positively, like positive things happen, like you score more, you rebound, you assist. There's like a bunch of different variables that go into this metric. And if you are a minus, that means the time that you're on the court, your team did not do as good. It isn't an exact science, and it isn't the true measure of how good a player is. It's just kind of like a generalization. And LEXIE HULL is a plus 8, which ranks 11th in the league. She's been doing things that I haven't seen from last season, like she developed a fadeaway. She's like cutting back door, reverse layups, and of course, a sniper behind the arc.
Mitchell, extra pass, it's all.
I mean, I don't know if it's like that she started like donning a leg sleeve that like has made like all the difference in the world, because all of a sudden she's just like so great. But you know what? I've been noticing something, and this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion for a lot of people who did not like the Unrivaled League, but so many people in the league that did participate in Unrivaled, they're having breakout seasons. Now, this does not mean that they did good in Unrivaled, because Unrivaled was concepted as a developmental league, like it's self-proclaimed as a developmental league. And I think that it's a very different format, like 3v3 and 5v5. They aren't exactly comparable. Like Aaliyah Boston did not do very good in the Unrivaled League, but I think what it did, I mean, look at Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston played in Unrivaled. LEXIE HULL played in Unrivaled. Tosh Cloud, I mean, Natasha Cloud on the New York Liberty is like a totally different player. She actually got her first Player of the Week in her entire career this season. Alicia Gray also got her first Player of the Week of her entire career, also played in Unrivaled. Nafisa Collier, it's hard to say, oh, Nafisa Collier got better because she's pretty much like the top of the top. How can you get better? But her stats are better than her stats began at last season. Skylar Diggins-Smith is having a great season. She was also an Unrivaled. And this isn't exactly like a true science. This is just something that I'm noticing from players that I'm watching in games who I'm thinking, wow, they look so much better than they did last season. And so many players that are having like these breakout seasons were actually an Unrivaled. So really, this is just something that I'm noticing. I would actually love to like go in, like spend like an hour or so looking through stats. But one reason that I could say is because I watched all of the Unrivaled League, I covered it, and one of the things that pretty much every single player talked about is just how fast paced it was. It made you, I don't know if it's like the cardio thing. I don't know if it's like you have to think faster. And again, just because you're good at 3v3 doesn't mean you're going to be good at 5v5. Or if you're bad at the 3v3 doesn't mean you're going to be bad at the 5v5. I'm purely like speaking in like, adding an extra gear to like your game. So, and that's what I think Unrivaled did for a lot of players. I think it added an extra gear to LEXIE HULL. I think it added an extra gear to Aaliyah Boston. I mean, she is looking so fit. Like the way that she just drives to the basket. She's doing things with her footwork that I have not seen before. And a lot of that is Keith Porter. There is no diminishing what her work like outside of Unrivaled, because I think that a lot of the mechanics and stuff would be attributed to somebody like Keith Porter. But I also am just like seeing a trend and something that I don't think that I can ignore anymore and so I've been wondering, like, is this actually something that helps developmentally, like just as like an exercise, not as a measure of how good of a basketball player you are. That being said, it was hard to watch Unrivaled at times, like really hard. But at the same time, it would be hard to watch somebody work out every day too, just for pure entertainment. Although, some of those Indiana Fever workout videos were really fun, but like think about watching that for 2 hours at a time. And there was a lot of chucking in Unrivaled. So believe me, I totally understand not wanting to watch the game for any sort of entertainment purposes. Anyway, I'll get off my Unrivaled soapbox because my point really is that LEXIE HULL is really proving herself this year. She is entering her 4th year because she was drafted in 2022 from Stanford. She's so blue collar. Her defense is she's one of the peskiest on defense. She gets really skinny by going over screens, which does not give a defender space to get a shot off. Like if you go under a screen, that gives like whoever you're defending a little bit of space, like a couple feet and like half a second, which could be all the difference in the world to get a shot off. But she just goes and she like slides in between a defender and the screen, and she does not allow them to get that space. And she was really pesky last season, but I think the difference that I'm seeing from last season to this season, she's not getting into foul trouble as much. And that's a sign of maturity, because one of the problems with coming into the league is that a lot of the more veteran WNBA players, they know how to they know how you play. They know how to draw a foul. Like they'll do like a pump fake, and they'll like a lot of players kind of recognize the game of what another player will do. And so like Brianna Stewart, let's just say, she knows, like she even told Kiki Iriafen yesterday when she was at the line, she said, if you keep putting your hand up, I'm going to keep drawing that foul. And that's something that SGA does. And I mean, Brittany Sykes. Oh, by the way, Brittany Sykes, another player who was in Unrivaled, who at 31 years old is having like an amazing season. And yes, she also is a bit of a foul merchant. And as annoying as it is, there is a strategy to drawing a foul. And for somebody coming into the league, you don't understand how to avoid those strategies. Like SGA knows that if he does a pump fake, Rudy Gobert is always going to jump up, and then SGA will just jump up afterwards and draw the foul. Not the funnest way to watch basketball, but unfortunately it is a strategy. So yeah, I see LEXIE HULL maturing and not being in as much foul trouble as she was last season, but still being super duper pesky to who she's defending. So yeah, my LEXIE HULL most improved player agenda starts now. But what do you guys think?